Good afternoon, friends. It's Angel Wallace here. It is Monday and it is July 27th, 2020. It's 1:06 p.m. where I'm at. And I'm going through my Twitter account this morning. I came into this person's thread and it's Captain blankety blank thanks. It's the four-letter word with IN. I don't want to say it. His name is at user DB, DEEBEE, and I will give you that link at the end of this video so that you can go and visit him yourself. It says, I promised a pineal gland thread, so I'll try my best to explain some things. This is not medical advice. Do your own research, please. In this thread, I'll go through some information pertaining to the pineal gland and its hidden capabilities, linked to your well-being, and much, much more. Okay, so I just wanted to stop right here because when I was doing a close-up of giving the list of items that Captain was going to show us about the pineal gland and what he was going to be covering, I had it after I enlarged that area. It just dawned on me that his name is Captain Mother Blankety Thanks at user DB. I didn't even see the mother because it was so tiny, right? The information is just so tiny. So as I blew it, so I had to straighten that out. Sorry, Captain, but I didn't see that. I just want to make sure that I got your name right. Okay, I'm sorry. In this thread, he's covering what is the pineal gland, calcified implications of the pineal gland and your health, frequencies and EMF exposure, meditation and astral projection, and top tips to decalcify and train your pineal gland. So what is the pineal gland? The pineal gland is a small pea-shaped gland in the brain, also referred to as a pine cone due to its shape, hence the name pineal gland, the third eye. Scientifically, all we know is that it produces melatonin, which regulates our sleep pattern and cycles. And there's the gland right there in the center. Similar to your eyes, the pineal gland has rods and cones to allow light to enter it. The reasons for this is in the scientific community is also unknown. However, speculated that it uses rods and cones to see light, therefore producing more melatonin at night. In the States, by the age of 2, the pineal gland becomes inactive and almost calcified. 40% of the population will have a calcified pineal gland by the age of 17. Well, how does this happen, Captain? Well, let me explain. See that? That's all calcified right there. It's like when you're watering your plants, and you see the calcification, the deposits that grow on the side of your pot. That's what that is. The pineal gland. Fluoride is deposited here as a result of consumption of fluoridated water, and also from your toothpaste, because that's all has fluoride. What happens when the pineal gland becomes calcified? Your sleep patterns are terrible. Insomnia kicks in. You're reducing your sleep cycle. Your ability to detect irregularities. Truth becomes impaired. Think of that pineal gland as your bull's detector. I don't know what he says. Bull's star T detector. I don't know what that means. A calcified pineal gland poses health risks too. When you get sleep deprivation, it has a snowball effect on all sorts of health issues. Calcification also causes Alzheimer's disease, migraine attacks, kidney disease, schizophrenia, and that's just to name a few. Put down your phone. We now live in a world where EMF exposure has risen 100 times, which causes massive health implications. EMF exposure lowers your frequency and puts you in an anxiety, depressive state. For you to stay healthy, You must put down the phone and ground yourself. The earth is negatively charged and the air is positively charged. Grounding yourself, walking barefoot, lowers anxiety levels by reducing the positive charge you picked up from the air or the direct EMF exposure. Holding your phone all day is like a microwave. Don't do it. And it shows you the frequencies, radio frequencies, your visible light, your ionization, radiation in this little. So low frequency fields are your AC outlet plugs, your dog collars, the laptop computers, and your power lines. Radio frequencies are the television, the radio, the cell phone, the baby monitors, and the smart meters. Your visible light is infrared in your remote control, in your ultraviolet tanning beds. The ionization radiation is from gamma rays or X-rays. He goes on to say, in the legal and regulatory section on the iPhone, it specifies to use a hands-free kit to be safe and not to expose yourself to phone calls. 6 minutes. They forget to mention this to you when you're buying phones. You are a being who is susceptible to frequency changes. RF exposure. iPhone has been tested and meets applicable limits for radio frequency exposure. Specific absorption rate, SAR, refers to the rate at which the body absorbs RF energy. The SAR limit is 1.6 watts per kilogram in countries that set the limit averaged over 1 gram of tissue, and 2.0 watts per kilogram in countries that set the limit average over 10 grams of tissue. During testing, iPhone radios are set to their highest transmission levels and placed in positions that simulate uses against the head with no separation, and when worn or carried against the torso of the body with 5 millimeter separation. To reduce exposure to RF energy, use a hands-free option such as a built-in speakerphone, the supplied headphones, or other similar accessories. Cases with metal parts may change the RF performance of the device, including its compliance with RF exposure guidelines in a manner that has not been tested or certified. While this is probably scary to hear, there is hope. I'll cover how you can help declassify and improve the health of the pineal gland later in the thread. Now that you know what the pineal gland is and its scientific functions, let's move on to not so scientific theories. The 17th century philosopher René Descartes, after long studies of the pineal gland, called it the principal seat of the soul and said it was the link between the physical and the spiritual world. While this seems far-fetched, there's a lot of information that supports this theory. And I'll let you read this. That's so fine. You know, it says, the pineal gland, represented as a pine cone, is a sacred symbol throughout history in almost every culture of the world. The Egyptian staff of Osiris, dated back to 1224 BC, depicts two intertwining serpents rising up to a pine cone. And I believe that they have something like that that represents the medical field as well. In Catholic traditions, the coat of arms of the Holy See, found on the Vatican flag among other places, features a stacking of 3 crowns in shape of a pine cone. The Buddhists all throughout history have shaped their hair into the pine cone shape to pay honor to the pineal gland's powers. The Mexican god Chicomecoatl, 7 snakes, depicts the deity offering 4 pine cones in one hand and an evergreen tree in the other. In Greek and Roman history, the Dionysus, later known as Bacchus, was continually depicted carrying a thyrsus fennel staff woven with ivy and leaves and topped with a pine cone. The Indian deity Kundalini, depicted as coiled serpents rising up from the base of the spine to the third eye, the pineal gland, in the moment of enlightenment. And the ancient Assyrian and carvings dated back to 713 to 716 BC depict 4-winged godlike figures using a pine cone to pollinate their depiction of the tree of life, a tribute to the pine cone's immortality symbolism. Today it is associated with the 6th chakra. How to activate your pineal gland. Get out into the sun. It stimulates the mind, it produces serotonin, and the neurotransmitter responsible for mood and energy levels. Sleep in complete darkness. A dark environment ensures the pineal gland produces enough melatonin to ensure good restful sleep. Meditation. The pineal gland responds to the bioelectric signals of light and dark, and meditation activates this bioelectric energy. Ancient Egypt has many carvings of the pineal gland in the form of a pine cone throughout history, even in today's world. It's just there to produce melatonin. What is the obsession and why so many references? 3,500 years ago, Egyptians already knew about this. You have the third eye, thalamus, the eye of Horus. That's this, and that's what the Illuminati always use, if you've noticed that. That's what they show you in the brain here. The eye of Horus. Here you see the gods back in the day. It's man-like with the pine cone. Here you have half bird, half human, and they have the pine cone. There's the eye of Horus, and here in your brain shows you, and it's shaped just like the eye of Horus. Here's the two snakes with a pine cone. You have the two snakes, a pine cone and the wings. And the evil popes here. You have the cone right here at the base of this staff. And here's another one. It doesn't stop there. The CIA released papers of their studies on astral projection, which was called the gateway process, where they specifically explored the capabilities of the pineal gland under deep medication. The results were astounding. In the papers, they outlined the process, which was taken to achieve astral projection through the help of HemiSync, created by Bob Monroe of Monroe Institute. You need to ask yourself, in the CIA, we're looking into this in the 1980s. Can you imagine where they are now? It's real. You know that the C_A are bad people. There are the thugs of government. The men in black, they control Hollywood. They control everything. They are the thugs. They are sent out to do the beast's work, you know. What sort of patriot would I be if I didn't give you access to the whole 30-page declassified papers? I would encourage you to read into this and familiarize yourself with download it, print it, and share it. Share it. It's not a myth. And he gives you the link right there from the Department of the Army, U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command at Fort George G. Meade, Maryland. It's the analysis and the assessment of the gateway process. And it's 29 pages long, so I'm not going to read that, but it'll be there in the, if you go to his link, you'll be able to see that, and just go down through the thread, because it's just, he just keeps adding more and more. It says, if you want a little help breaking down the gateway process papers, my guy at Clark Kegley does an awesome job on his YouTube channel. He also covers a lot of other stuff in this area. Give him a follow, and they gives you the information for that. So I'm not going to give that to you. If you go and visit this man's thread, then you can find everything that you need to know. It's all in the links. Another aspect I'll include in the official Monroe's Institute leaflet on astral projection and HemiSync, because I think it's really important people know about this. Sharing is caring. It's the introduction. It says, you are more than your physical body, and then it gives you information. It's so blurry I cannot see that, and I cannot read that for you, so I apologize. Brainwaves and states of consciousness. We may consider the physical body as a tuning mechanism through which the human mind can operate in physical consciousness. And it's blurred, so I'm not going to even try to attempt to read that. But it's in his link, and I'll leave you his link. And from there you can go on and read and search whatever you feel like. Also important to note, through meditation, it could take up to 5 years to reach a level of deep meditation. With the help of the HemiSync, you can achieve that in far less time. Use this to focus the hemisphere. Now, I don't know about going up to 5 years, because I've done astral projection. I did it one time. I learned from my sister, and I lived up at Coal Creek Canyon, her husband, and I was single at that time. well, divorced at that time, so it was just me and my son that lived down the street from them. And you're looking at houses that are like 5 miles apart from each other. I mean, you're up at the canyon, right? But there was a gentleman up there, and he was like a psychic, and he worked for the government. He had a beautiful cabin. I mean, oh my God, his front room was all glass, and all you could see were the beautiful pine trees and the beautiful flora. But he taught us the astral projection, and it happened that I did that with my sister and a few other people. We sat around on the floor and going into the, you know, the state of being where you're within yourself. And I think I've told you this before, but I was actually being burned at the stake. And it was so hot, and the sweat was just running down my face. And it hadn't reached my body yet. It was like on top of, there were a bunch of like branches all on the bottom. They were all burning. People were yelling, and I could hear, Joan, Joan, Joan. When I came back, in my mind, I was Joan of Arc, being burnt at the stake. Now, why would I even think that? I don't know. I didn't consider nothing came to my mind as being a witch. It was Joan. I was hearing Joan, Joan, Joan. And in my mind, when I came back, like I said, I was Joan of Arc being burned at the stake. So whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I don't lie, and I know that what I experienced. Okay, that's all I can tell you. So I don't know if it affects people differently, but I never went back to doing that again. I just tried it that one time, and that was enough to scare me. And it probably shouldn't, because, you know, to me, that tells me that my gland is fairly open. If I can go that far, that tells me. But see, I'm one of those people that I drink that, I drink the apple cider vinegar with the mother. And I put a capful of that in a 4-ounce glass, and then add the water, and I add a little bit of baking soda. Now you can do it either way. You can add your vinegar and then sprinkle in your little baking soda, and it fizzes. After that fizzes, you add your water to the top, 4-ounce glass, stir it, drink it down. It's very good. It doesn't even taste like vinegar, okay? That baking soda makes it taste like champagne or something like that. It doesn't even taste like vinegar, so it's very good. It helps you keep your weight down. If you want to lose your gut, use that every morning. It also keeps your body alkaline. And you know the cancer does not like an alkaline body. So quit eating meat and quit the sugars, because the cancers love that sort of stuff. And it'll help you keep your weight down as well. It says the reason I've outlined the 7 hertz frequency is because the natural frequency of the earth is 7.82 hertz, also known as the Schumann resonance. When it comes to the brain, it's where you want to be when you're meditating, and your brain will imitate the same hertz as the hemisync audio, the theta. There's your human brain waves. There's the gamma, there's the beta, and there's the alpha. Educate yourself on the pineal gland. Read the declassified papers. Meditate as much as possible. Reduce environmental risks. That's the EMF. Reduce and eliminate fluoride intake. So if you want to clean your teeth really, really good and keep them really white, use baking soda and make a little paste with hydrogen peroxide. Put it on your toothbrush. Go to town with it. I use an electric toothbrush myself. And when you're done, get that hydrogen peroxide, put a little squirt in a little cup, dilute it with water, and swish it in your mouth and use that as your gargle, because that will keep your teeth, not your mouth, cleansed, really cleansed, right? And also it'll make your teeth stand out. I mean, they'll be really, really white. And that's the best way to clean your teeth. Or I happen to find some charcoal toothpaste, and it has no fluoride in it. So I buy that as well. So I use both things, and that's what I use. You can find it at the dollar store, believe it or not. You must first change your diet. It's essential to reduce the meat intake. Now, I had to reduce my meat intake because I had a heart attack about, 4 years ago. You increase your plant-based foods. I know this isn't what you want to hear, and I'm a meat lover. So, I mean, you can, at first I thought it was going to be awful for me to change my diet, but it's amazing what you can come up with just by using, various fruits and vegetables. You can make stir fries with it with chicken. You can make various salads, You can have fruit salads. You can have just regular salads. You can do, just add to it whatever you want. And that's the best way to eat. Salmon is another thing that I eat a lot of. And I have, for burgers, I usually have turkey burger. And just put in your spices in it, and it'll come out just like a regular burger. But be sure to spice it because it has no taste. It's pretty bland. Okay, and it says now to really reduce the calcification in the pineal gland, you can use fermented skate liver oil. It's an activator X. Turmeric, apple cider vinegar. There's a list of 10 supplements used to decalcify, including a list of foods which contain them here. And they give you a link to that. I hope this helps you, and if you've enjoyed the thread, please share with others if you think it may help. I'll cover more around this topic in the future and delve into history and consciousness as a whole. Stay healthy and stay aware. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's very important that you start decalcifying that pineal gland and you can see more than you want to know. And that's, that's a barrier that they want to keep from you and God, because that's your third eye. If you decalcify it, you'll see more, and the more you see, the more you know, the less you fear, remember? And that's where we want to be. So beat the odds, get rid of all that stuff that's harmful to you, get rid of that fluoride toothpaste and the water, and just, you have to make your own choices. Hope you enjoyed that because it's very informational, and Captain did a really good job of getting information out. So I happened to just fall on his Twitter page and I saw that. And as I'm reading through, I thought, that's something that I think that you folks would really appreciate knowing about. So I asked him if it was okay to share, and he said it was all right. So thank you again, Captain. Okay, folks, I'd like to leave you with this. God calling, July 27th, my consolation. Oh, Jesus, come and walk with us, and let us feel thy very nearest. I walk with you. Oh, think, my children, not only to guide and comfort you, and strengthen and uphold, but for solace and for comfort for myself. When a loving child is by you, is the nearness only that you may provide protection and help for that little one? Rather, too, that in that little child you may find joy and cheer and comfort in its simplicity, in love, its trust. So, too, is it in your power to comfort and bring joy to my heart. Isn't that beautiful? I love this little book. If you get a chance to buy one, it's called God Calling by A.J. Russell. It has 365 days full of beautiful passages. That when you least expect it, you go and you start reading the passage, and it's like it knows you. And it gives you those little comforting words that you need, or some inspiration, but it always provides you with something wonderful. Okay, so with that, I want to say love you, see you, bye. Let's hope I don't have a hard time getting this one uploaded. Okay, before I let you go, this is the apple cider with mother. See, it says with the mother. Baking soda, activated charcoal toothpaste at the dollar store. Use it. I just had to show you that. I want you to know that I use that stuff. Okay, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I need all the thumbs up I can get. And be sure to share that, okay? Share it with your friends, because they might need to know that information as well. Let's spread the word so we can all wake up. Okay, and be sure to subscribe. That's important as well. Thank you so much for following me. I love you all. God bless you, and you have a wonderful evening.